Okay, Ms. Carr, I think this one is yours also. The DA's office is funded by taxpayers. What is your fiscal track record, and what assurances can you offer voters that they'll get the most bang for the taxpayer buck?
Well, I think the proof is in the pudding, because the first thing I did as the DA, as I mentioned, in looking at our operations, was have an outside audit. So you've heard me say that several times now. I think it's very important for outside people who have skill in that area to come in and look at our operations. So that was very helpful. So we continue to look at ways we can improve in terms of being more effective and efficient in our resources, and we have to do that. We also aggressively seek grants, and we have been successfully funded in a number of areas, in white-collar crime, for instance. And those that money all comes with regulations, but it's very helpful in having us focus on workers' comp fraud, workers' compensation fraud, on auto thefts, and other kinds of white-collar crime. We also, out of our office, proposed a legislation that tacks on $2 on recordings of real property documents, and that goes to pay for the real estate lawyers and investigators who work in that fraud area. So that's been very helpful. So we are always looking for ways to not only live within our budget from the general fund, but also seek outside funding so that we can do that work that is so important to keep our community safe. Because you know, with a $260 million deficit on the county side, that budgets are going to be incredibly awful for a very long time.
My track record, I'm one of those people that before I buy something, I save the money first and then buy it, which is sort of a revolutionary concept in America these days. It certainly isn't to some of my friends. Look, unfortunately, a budget is a statement of one's values. And one thing we need to be clear on, when this district attorney cut the cold case unit and cut the Innocence Project, and it's eliminated in her 2007 budget, which I have here, at the same time, she hired 2 press information officers, 2 public information officers. Now, look, lawyers like to talk. Okay? We didn't pay extra to have press information officers who are not lawyers. So in terms of efficiencies, in terms of the taxpayer's buck, a reporter calls the public information officer, who's not a district attorney, not a prosecutor, not a lawyer, asks a question. The public information officer calls the deputy that has the case. The deputy calls the public information officer back and then tells the press. So that's not efficient. And we know from sort of broken telephone game that we played as a kid, things get lost in translation. So that's just an example of spending money on things that are not essential, not essential. And the fact is the district attorney has gotten horrible press. You can't spin the press. Okay? If I cut the press information officers we had and put that money towards public safety like cold case unit, probably get good press because it would be the right thing to do.